Well, what's interesting in the situation that's set up, I mean, I'm married for 20 years. I have a 19-year-old and a 15-year-old, and in that way, Artie and I are a lot different. Artie has no life. He hasn't seen his father in about 20, 25 years. He chose the life, the mistress of this warehouse that he both loves and hates, and is obsessed by, and adores and loathes. And so he's now saddled with and gifted, both saddled and gifted with a family that he cares deeply about, and really doesn't have the tools himself to deal with it. So it's kind of wonderful this season when Claudia first makes the first tentative steps for getting a boyfriend.
I am now.
And I'm Sally Richardson Whitfield. Yeah.
This is actually what happens on the set
It is. It happens just like
all the time. Be in the middle of something.
You put me next to Eddie.
Fine.
You expect that?
Saul's doing his lines, Saul's saying, Saul's into the scene, and Eddie's off to the side making fart jokes.
We're actually arranged by levels of maturity. Being the least mature and this end being the most mature. I take it back. Saul and I are somewhere in the middle.
Just call us old.
No.
Mature, that's true. Like a tree.
Were you going somewhere? Something about...
Probably not. I think I said it. I was just saying that it's really this season. She makes her first tentative steps in getting a boyfriend, and there's Artie feeling like a father figure who has absolutely no idea of what to say, having had no children of his own and nothing but artifacts to deal with. So it's kind of wonderful the way the writers have found that awkward speechlessness in this relationship. It's really a pleasure to do. And given the fact that we're a procedural, this is interesting for you guys, I hope, because it can be a way to support your family. It's great to do a series. If you're doing a procedural, it can get to be stultifyingly boring, really boring. And this shows every episode that we do, and I guess you must notice this, is different from every other episode. It's like we're doing these individual little movies every week. We're like turning pages every time we get a script because we have no idea where it's going. It's unpredictable to us. As a result, going to work is a total joy because there's no formula for us to hold on to.
Well, that's the thing, right? There's such a blend of genres in this show, and I think that's part of the success of it. But like, what do you guys prefer?
Is that part of the success of it?
Say, fine, Saul, change the line, it's okay. You can say that line, it's fine. we have the dissertation.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, so what do you guys prefer doing? There's so much comedy, there's so much action. It's like, what do you call it? A thriller-romedy?
A thriller-romedy. We do a thriller-romedy.
Do you guys have any preference?
I get a nickel every time that shows up in print. What is your favorite thing to do?
I did a lot of comedy before I did Warehouse 13. I did...
Well, we'll be the judge of that.
I didn't say any of it was good. But of the 10 pilots that I've done in my career, 9 of them were sitcoms, and then the 10th one is Warehouse 13. So, I mean, whether or not I was funny, I was performing in a lot of comedy. So the fact that I'm able to do both in this show it's the dream job for me, because I really don't prefer to do either more. I think that it's great to do both, and I think the show blends both quite well. So.
All right, well, I've got just some like technical questions. One about like the warehouse. How big is it? Like really, how big? It seems to be bigger
I think it's
every
infinite.
time. It's a what?
Infinite. My theory is that it's constantly expanding, much like the universe. And the manual as well is just an ever-growing show. There's not really one manual. She's the only other person who's actually read.
Besides me.
It's as big as our CGI budget is every year.
reader of the manual. It took me 6 years to get through college. I learned how to drink beer out of a shoe.
Well, the warehouse is 13th. Every warehouse has taken the artifacts of every other warehouse. You imagine...
Except for Alexander.
Imagine, yeah, because there was one that disappeared. But I think that, you know, if you think about maybe the first warehouse was something maybe the size, double the size of this room, and then another generation, and it kept going. So my guess is it goes 3 miles into that mountain.
Yeah, it's enormously large, and we want to always keep it mysterious. We never want to see the back of it. We never want to see the end of it. It's one of those things that just goes on and on and on, and that's some of the fun of the show, is we get to explore and introduce new elements every year. This year we introduced the Escher
fairy
vault.
tale. It's kind of a fairy tale in
Yeah.
our show.
It's a mysterious place, and getting around in it and keeping inventory in it's really interesting.
I mean, we'll discover eventually that there's an observatory up at the top of the mountain that leads from a spiral staircase down into the warehouse.
What?
There is? We don't even know.
Yeah,
Okay.
I have the plates already. We'll set it up.
Okay.
We were going to do it at the end of the season, but we changed the story, went another direction. So let's just get us someplace else to go.
Eddie says he's seen it. Is that true?
You see?
I saw the observatory.
Why did you show him and not me?
Wait,
I said show me, but do not show Joanne.
I was going to show you. You were late.
I was not late. I'm very
She was writing in her script.
All right, well, I'm going to throw to some fan questions, so if people want to come down, where is it? Right down here? Is that where they go? Right there. Right
While
there.
they're lining up for questions, can I just also say that we're talking about the reason the show is a success? If you look around you, this is the reason the show is a success, is you guys. The fans are really important to us. We love you guys. We are so grateful that you watch the show and love the show. And thank you, and keep loving it and watching it and passing it on to your friends. Oh, thank you. You did. You told people in the room triple. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Twizzlers.
How many people do we need? This is
You got
more than
Twizzlers in the front row. Don't let Joanne see it.
Oh my God, there's a ton of
Okay,
people.
yeah.
You guys will see.
Eddie, you have to leave the same way you came in.
I got a question. Are you guys happy about the idea that Eureka and us are in the same universe? You know, I was a guest star on the first season of Eureka, and I just adored it. The very first season, and I loved the show. So it means something special to me. So I'm hoping Arnie gets to cross over.
There was a whole people.
Yes, girl. I didn't even remember that. I went into the light, didn't I? I did not.
All right, we got some questions lined up over here.
But they all disappeared.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I drove them away. No. They're there.
Oh, there.
Over there. All right.
Well, get in.
Hi.
Hi.
First, actually, I want to thank Eddie as he's taking a photo. I'm actually a graduate student in writing, and I wrote an episode of Warehouse 13 for part of my graduate thesis. I asked Eddie a question. I said, would Pete hide up in a tree or in a ditch? And he wrote me back and said, in a ditch under a tree.
Hey, making me sound smart and everything. I like you.
So my question is, I guess it's kind of a fluffy question, but I want to know what your favorite object has been so far in the warehouse, or maybe one that's coming up.
Me?
Any of you, all of you. So.
For me, it was the first time I saw what the art department could do. I don't know whether it wasn't so much because the artifact was so magical, although it is. We had this thing called Rheticus's compass in the first season. And I looked at this object that needed to look like it was created in Renaissance times. And I've been doing this a while, and I've done some expensive movies, and I've seen what props departments do. And I thought to myself, wait a minute, is this a $150 million movie? This prop, which was made of brass and and had a weight to it. It must have cost
It was $12,000. It was
$12,000.
$12,000.
It's the episode I
It was-
laughed for.
It was an amazingly beautiful object, and it was really cool. What are you doing?
I was taking a picture.
He's taking the picture's name.
So we're gonna have an artifact next year that actually lets him grow up to 9.
Hey, you know what? Look, I graduated from college and sold insurance for 7 months. I was a PA for 3 years.
You've done more pilots than a
I've done-
stewardess.
Please be aware that many members of your audience may be under 18 years of age.
He said the F word last year. I didn't do that.
The question was, is just to get it
Continue,
days.
my favorite artifact is Jimi Hendrix's guitar.
Yeah!
I do want to go through that purple haze. Come on! I can say the artifact that terrifies me most this year is a griffin. It's the episode I'm the most terrified of watching. I can't wait for you guys to see.
And you're absolutely brilliant in it. Well, everybody is. It's a hilarious body switching episode that is.
Am I allowed?
No, Eddie, if you have to ask if you're allowed, the answer is no. Because if you're all the way at asking,
It's kind of the story of my life, though, isn't it?
I think it's a good story.
Little.
What were you going to ask? Are you allowed to what?
Is he allowed to tell what the griffin does?
Kind of the backstory of the premise of that show.
Spoilers.
Yeah, why don't we just let the people watch it and then get some more questions coming?
Yeah, there we go.
Good moderator. Way to be, y'all.